Good day, everyone. I hope you're having an amazing day. Welcome to another episode of Einstein Certification Series. So today I'm going to talk about the desktop exploration. We're going to look at the data because data is very important. Because when you talk about Einstein analytics, right, data plays an important role. Without data, you can't do analysis of the information, right? So the first thing first, as usual, you need to have an org. If you haven't registered for an org, I would highly encourage you to do so, right? Okay, so what we're going to talk about more about a data set, right? So I might have talked about in bits and pieces when I covered how to create a data set, right? So we're going to look a little bit in depth today, right? So think about a scenario. You have a data set, right? Data set is, it could be from any source, right? It could be from your internal Salesforce object, right? An account or a contact, right? Or it could be from an external CSV, right? Let's say you have a data set which is already inbuilt. So we're going to work with an inbuilt data set which has been provided to us by Salesforce, right? So what all you can do using your data, right? How to explore the data, what all stuff you can do with your data set to see your result in a different way, and how to visualize it, right? At the end of the day, the most important thing is to make a data in a representative state, right? In other words, that you should present your data in such a way that a person looking at your data set get to know what exactly you're trying to do with that, right? For instance, you have a data set about an account, right? So account comprises of, say, account and contact, right? So a contact belonging to an account, right? So now you have a raw data set where you have an account and a contact, right? Now, if you put everything like a pile of data there, you won't get a clear idea about what exactly the data is about, right? And which contact belonging to which account, right? So you have different options. You can use filters if you wanted to say accounts, if you wanted to say accounts filter by a lead source, or if you wanted to say account filter by active status, right? And you can group an account, so you can see the contacts belonging to specific accounts, right? So you can group by accounts. So a lot of things you can do, a lot of things you can do with exploration. That's exactly what we're gonna do today, right? Just to make it's very important from an exam point of view as well, right? So I would highly encourage you to go through this trailhead, right? There's a lot of stuff to read. So, and then you even get to even practice it, right? Answer for questions here. So that will really help you. So I'm going to explain you the essence behind it, and so that it will become more clear for you, okay? Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this tic-tac-toe icon here. As you can see, I've already registered and logged into my org. Go to the studio here, right? And so I'm going to pick and choose the data set which has been provided to us by Einstein, because I'm not going to create a new one. I've told you how to create a new data set. I explained to you how to do that in previous episode, right? So if you haven't watched it, I would highly encourage you to do so, right? It will help you understand better, right? That's my suggestion for it. The rest is up to you if you want to watch or not, okay? Go to Data Manager here on the left-hand corner right now. Right, by now you know how to do that, right? But let's talk about it in more detail anyways, okay? So go to your data here, okay? And so I'm gonna pick and choose, let's see which one, okay? I'm gonna choose this DTC opportunity, right? You will have in your org as well, when you register for one, you will get this one, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to explore. There's an explore option here, okay? So this is where the magic happens. This is where you can figure out what all you can do with the data, right? Right now, if you look at it, you won't get any information, right? You will wonder what the heck it is, right? It just only shows counts. So I wanted to aggregate the information and do group by on information. So don't get overwhelmed when I talk about group by, right? I understand that some of you may not have used SQL before. So group by, right? Like if you have, let's say, an account, right? So account has source, right? And so account source could be, or account, okay, forget about account, right? I hope everyone knows the lead, right? Lead has different sources, right? You can create a lead through web. You can create a lead through phone. You can create a lead through email, right, or whatever, right? Let's say you have three lead source, right? Now, if I wanted to group them, right, if I wanted to know all the leads, which are created, whose lead source is, say, let's say email. So that's where I do group by, right? So I can see all the information, like, okay, the leads sourced by email, these are the leads, right? Lead sourced by phone, these are the leads, right? So I hope you understand it's group by, right? If you are someone who do not understand group by or order by, right? So so I'm not talking about the order by, so just for now, forget about that, okay? So count rows, right? If you wanted to do aggregation, right? So you can say you can do sum of amounts, right? So you can delete it, okay? Now I wanted to, so this is an opportunity, right? I wanted to do group by, let's say, account type, right? I can do group by an account type. So there are two types of account types here on this data set. You can do customer and you can do partner, right? Or if you change your mind, you can also do say, let me see, opportunity type, okay? And I delete this account type. You can do by both, but so it's like group by both the fields, but I'm gonna remove one just to make it simple. So we can see that it's have opportunity type, you have existing business, new business, right? So these are, and you have the sum of amounts in this, right? Sum of amount. So what's happening here is that it's aggregating based on the group by, right? Existing business amount, total amount, 153 million, right? So what you can do, you can also go here and you can also drill down to group selection by a chosen dimension, right? So you can click here. Let's say I wanted to do by account owner. You can do that here, right? You can, it just give you a rundown by account owner, right? If you just do, or I can, what I do here, let's say delete it, okay? So you can do here account owner. So you see, if you wanted to group by an owner, right, you can do that. And this is a sum of an amount. You can see 12 million, right? And then we have query limit. So it says how many rows or number of results shown. Let's say if I change it to 1, say, right? So you get only one information, right? Instead of different owner, right? You get just one. So these are all the things you can do. And if you're interested in SQL query, you can go to this tab here and you can look at the SQL query. SQL query is a different thing. So I want to talk about it in a little bit in a different episode, right? I don't want to talk about today, because if I start talking about, okay, let's do for each here, you might wonder what the heck this guy's talking about, right? I just wanted to take it easy. Okay, so today's topic is all about, data exploration, analyze your data kind of stuff, right? So that's exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, so let's go back here. So we have, let's go back to change the default query. I just remove it, okay, apply it, and okay, sorry, I'm just gonna do, okay, I just put 1,000 for a second, okay? So you see that you get the information here, right? So this is exactly how you can filter it. Sorry, not filter, how you can limit the rows that return, right? Now you can also apply the filter. And so there's a filter here, okay? So opportunity type existing business. So if you don't want that, you can remove the filter. Or if you want the filter, let's say, if you wanted to say the sum of amount, so I would say greater than, say, I would say I wanted to have sum of amount greater than this. You will see the difference. You won't see any data, right? Because you have put the filter condition here. It's like a where clause in the SQL, right? Okay, so I'll just do remove here. You will see more information here, right? See, as you can see, more information start to show here, right? So this is about, this is how you can filter the stuff. You can explore the data, right? Now, another thing is that you can also change your chart, because as I mentioned to you, that data visualization is an important part, right? Think about a scenario, right? If I show you, if I give you this option, say value table, right? You might understand this, right? It's like a grid, right? If you're used to grid, but it's not really nice, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's not nice. I'm saying some people prefer a graphical representation in the form of chart, right? It looks nice. It's more. Some people are able to understand it better, depending upon your target audience, right? You need to create a visualization based on that, right? I mean, it works for me. If you give this information to me, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I understand, right? So you have, right? So you have different options here, and so you can actually count rows. You can do, right? It's a number of rows, right? Okay, and so I go back to data here, right? And I can do, say, I wanted to do filter by billing country, right? Let's say I wanted to do filter by billing country. So it's fancy, nice and looking, right? And so what I'm gonna do, I wanted to change the chart, right? Because I don't find this chart is as informative as it should be. So I'm gonna change the chart, right? You can choose column one if you want. You can choose the stack one, depending upon your preference, right? Or you can use the suggested chart option, which is even interesting, right? Right? Say you want this, you can get this one, right? But this one is makes no sense to me. So, or you can do this one, right? So, there are different options you can use. So whichever works for you and whichever is more informative, right? At the end of the day, data is all about, how you use it, right? You get tons of data there, but if you don't know how to use the data, then it's pointless, right? It's pointless having it in a bunch of information. So some data is meaningful for somebody, and the same data might be useless for someone else, right? So that's all it's about, the data. And in Einstein, data plays a very important role, because using the data, you can understand your metrics, you can understand how well your business is doing, you can understand how well your customers are doing, how you can understand, how well your employees are doing. A lot of things you can do, right, using a data set. So that's why it's very important. Your data exploration is very important, right? That's why I always say is that collecting the data is the hardest part, collecting and cleaning the data, right? If you are someone who came from machine learning background, you will understand data cleaning is the hardest part. Getting a data and cleaning it is the hardest part. Displaying is the easiest part, right? You can use a Python code, you can use different libraries in Python, or even R language you can use to do that if you don't want to use Einstein, right? If you wanted to use Einstein, you get the right data in an Excel document, right? And you clean it up and tidy it up and upload it. Boom, your data set is ready, right? So Einstein makes it very easy for you, but collecting and getting the data is still a challenging task, right? That's why I said data is important. Once you have a data, you should know what to do with the data, right? If you do not know how to group by, how to use a filter, how to aggregate the data, then it's pointless having a data. And you need to know how to use the table view, right? So if you wanted to see the table view, see it's you can see that you can see in the table every information, right? And so you can do order by billing and type and all kind of stuff, right? And if you wanted to do order by type, you can do that, right? And so you can freeze it. So there are different options you can do, right? So that's why I said it's important that you understand how to work with the data, right? And so the data exploration comes very handy there, right? And so yeah, that's the essence of today's topic, right? I want you guys to do one thing. I want you guys to go through this, become a data explorer part, right? You can read about it. It's they explain in a very interesting way. Group by data, which I've talked about it, right? And drill your data. As you can see, I explained to you about filter your data, right? And choose the right visualization. I talked to you about how to choose a chart, right? And so this is all you can work on it. And then I'm going to talk about analyze your data, right? So group by, you can do group by, filter on date, right? You can do a lot of stuff, right? Let me show you what I meant by that. So let me go here. So okay, so what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna do here, so I'm gonna do count type. Okay, I don't want this chart, So no, that's bar chart, right? And so I'm gonna delete it just to show you product family, for instance, right? Let's choose product family, right? Looks nice and easy, yeah? Okay, and just gonna delete, I'm gonna add this as sum, okay? And I'm gonna delete it, right? Okay, now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to filter, right? You can actually filter by date if you want. So you can say create a date, right? You can do custom, you can do between, right? You can do a lot of stuff, and you can change it. You know, you can do this, okay? Right, you can filter it, right? A lot of things you can do with that, and you can add another filter. You can do amount, right? Between, you can do this as well. So you know, it's up to you how you want to play with the data and how you want to use a filter condition, right? So we talked about it. Like I said, you need to read about how to understand, you know, to understand your data. So you can do this hands-on challenge. It's pretty straightforward. I would expect you to do so. If you're serious about it, I would highly encourage you to please do so. Right? Then you and then you talked about, and then we talked about, just a second. It's kind of slow at times. Calculate, compare tables. So this is about, you know, you can do filters. Again, it talks about the filter, right? And then so you can do yeah, so pretty much the stuff you can do here, right? And you can actually also do let's say go here, right? And you can do here, data here, right? And so you can, let's go here, compare table, right? And actually you can, so this is about the, you know, what do you want? So this is what I used, table mode, right? And you can use a value table, as I said, right? And so what they're doing is that you can actually go here, and you can format the column if you want, right? So this is exactly what they do. Choose column, right? And show data as, if you want to show as a bar, you can show as a bar, right? This is something they talked about, as you can see here, right? So let me do this in a very nice way, okay? So, okay, we'll stay here. So let's say here, okay? So what I'm gonna do, right? I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna do this, the table here, okay? And so this is the table, and you can see this is the data here, right? And so I'm gonna add, so here I can do, so this is the one, okay? If you wanted to, so let's say I wanted to change amount, right? So let me go and format the amount. So you can format the number, you can do as a percentage, or if you want it as a currency. Let's say amount, I want the amount to be in a currency, right? Let's talk about the formatting, right? Because your data is not correct, right? It's not perfect, because I don't know if it's in euro or what the heck it is, or it's in pounds, or you know, a dollar, whatever it is, right? So I will format it and just use the currency here, right? And see, it's in currency now, right? And so I can also do, if you want it as a percent, you can also do the percentage, right? But that's the amount. I don't want to do that, so it doesn't make sense, right? So I'll do this in a currency, right? And then I can do that, so days, right? So I can do that, the dates, so created date. So if you can add more columns if you want, right? So you click here, you can do account name, you can do billing country you want, right? You can do forecast category, okay? So let's do forecast category, right? So it must be there somewhere, right? And you can format it if you want. So format column, right? And you see, you can format as show data as image if you wanted to put some image, right? And or if you wanted to show as a text, And left alignment, you can do center alignment, right? And text style, you can do bold, right? And you can do conditional formatting. You can add a rule, right? Whatever rules you want. Yeah, use coloring method, use color in reference column, text color, the background color. You can see, you can format it, right? So I would highly encourage you to play with it and see if you wanted to see the data in a column way. You can do this, right? And so yeah, and if you wanted to change the theme, you can change this as well. So a lot of things you can do, a lot of things you can fiddle with it. So this is how you wanted to see your data in a tabular form. You can see that I've displayed in a chart way. So this is people who are interested to see the data in the chart way. They can see that. If you're interested to see the data in the tabular form, you can see that as well, right? So this is all I wanted to talk about it today. So as you can see here, I would highly encourage you to read it and fiddle with it and play with this formulas and kind of stuff, right? Editing a column, you can do percentage, right? So I will give you a task to do this one for you, the column C1, and it should be pretty straightforward. If you couldn't do it, just put a comment below. I can show you how to do that next time, right? So yeah, and plus please complete these questions as well, right? So that's pretty much I wanted to talk about it, right? And yeah, and the next time we're gonna talk about maps, right? We talk about custom maps, which will be interesting, right? Because it's important you should know how to create a custom map. So we're gonna talk about that next time, right? All right, that's all I wanted to talk about today. So ladies and gentlemen, have a good evening. Adios from New Zealand.